Welcome. You just came in all over me. Wow.
That sounded really terrible.
Wow.
I was going
Almost
to say, so
inappropriate.
how's that intro music? Because you were taking forever.
I was listening to it. I was getting into the groove, and then I was just getting ready
killed it.
to come in, and you just came in all over me.
I killed it. I'm sorry.
Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is... Does Fry want to tell us what the date is while people are jumping in?
Fury's telling us it is Wednesday, January 30th,
Oh, man.
2013.
You are listening to Factory Sealed. If somebody else wants to introduce... Do you want to get your other dog in to introduce me?
I have
Right.
a cat.
Oh, okay.
Say something. You hear that? That's him licking the microphone.
Well, I am Eric Peterson, and joining me... Is that Fry?
That's Fury.
Okay, that's Fury.
Fury.
The one snapping at Fury, we got Aaron Robison with us tonight.
Woohoo!
That's it? Just a woohoo?
Woohoo! I'm here.
Is that-
I may break out the Hulk voice sometime during the show.
Yeah, what is that?
It's the Hulk.
It's the,
You know, like,
we got
Hulk smash.
Jessica Megan.
Stop
The
it.
intro destroyer.
Yeah, you absolutely, you just took this whole train, you put a penny on the track of this podcast train, and just derailed the whole thing
I've
instantly.
never been so proud of myself
Like, we're
in my life.
We are 3 minutes in, and I'm not even remotely close to getting back on track. Like, I'm just all discombobulated.
I feel like you can get over it.
That's a skill.
Our viewers love it.
So, it's been 2 weeks to the day.
We're on time.
We are on time. I'm hoping to get the show out tonight on time.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that'll be a first. But while we're on the topic of time, Jess and I had a conversation, Aaron, without you.
That happens frequently.
It does.
Okay.
It does. We have gotten requests from people who would like to see our show more frequently, i.e. each week.
Okay.
And I can't say that I wouldn't enjoy doing that. Jess has said she can't say she wouldn't enjoy doing it. Am I phrasing this correctly, or are we all fucked up?
I don't know.
That's making it as the same thing, isn't it?
Okay. How do you feel about this? Because I've got a plan, and I think our listeners would like my plan.
I would like to do it. I need to make sure that I have the time to do it.
Okay.
So I'll listen to your plan, and then
Okay.
hopefully it'll work in my plan.
Well, during the break on the Manatang podcast last time, this past Sunday, for those of you who don't know, that's another one of the shows that we do. It's kind of our parent show. We are a subsidiary, I guess that'd be the right word. Anyways, Kevin, Mr. Dinner Dangles, and Oliver have expressed interest in joining us on particular weeks, depending on which game we want to play. And one of the games that I'm going to suggest tonight is one that Kev definitely wants to play, but we were thinking of doing another show next week. So, I think we should try to do them weekly if we can. You dig?
I dig.
You dig?
I dig.
Okay. Does Fury dig?
I'm not going to ask him right now.
I feel like that's the most important.
He's finally
question.
left me alone.
Oh, he'll be back. He will be
I
back.
dig. I think if we can do it on a regular basis and keep the time frame in order, we can do it. And if we have other guests, then I don't necessarily always have to be here.
How's the work on our super secret guest coming, Jess? I feel like that's kind of died.
It did die for a bit, but for good reasons. But then I feel like if we talk about those super secret reasons,
Is
then
it because of a multitude
life
of progeny?
choices. Yes.
Okay.
Progeny sounds better.
Progeny. That's, yeah. I feel like that's not going to give it away. A single high-level word. Progeny.
Well, unfortunately, I know what that word means, so now I'm in on the secret.
You were in on the secret before.
Yeah, but now I know what the reason is.
Oh.
We just need you to start paying more attention when we're talking to you.
I know what the
kidding.
secret is, but you guys just talked about the reason why it's dead right now is okay.
Yeah. Have you been in contact? I like to tease the viewers with this. Have you been in contact with said progeny creator?
Only briefly.
Oof, maybe I should contact him or her
For sure.
or whoever it is.
Or it.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Cylon.
Maybe.
Oh, they scare me.
No way. I'm watching through that entire series again. I was one of those
Me too.
where I was laying in bed. Like, I'm bored. I want to watch something. It's like 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. So I flipped on Netflix and stumbled upon Battlestar again. And I'm almost done with the 3rd season already. This is like last week or 2 weeks ago.
I just finished the 3rd season.
Okay.
I'm at
the part where they are getting ready to come back to New Caprica and save everyone.
Oh, okay.
So, Aaron, do you watch Battlestar?
I need to turn in my nerd card.
You've never watched Battlestar?
I've seen 1 episode.
I'm not sure we can continue being friends. I had
You
to
watch Caprica?
Caprica
No.
was dumb.
Shut your mouth.
Here's the
James
problem.
Marsters was on
Here's first part of the problem. I used to work a job when all these shows were big and on the air.
Yeah.
I used to work a job where I worked 70 hours a week, and I didn't have any time to watch TV. And now I don't have cable. So now I just need to let my friends borrow me their DVDs, and that's how I catch up.
Or you could
Netflix
be
or
like
Hulu.
90% of the rest of the world and either A, watch it on Netflix, or B, if you're too cheap for $8 a month, watch it
I
online.
have Netflix.
Okay, Battlestar Galactica, the
Netflix,
entire
yeah,
Is it
series.
on Netflix?
Yeah.
We cut
The
our
new one or the
cable.
old one?
Both are
Both.
on there. Don't watch the old
Okay.
one. That one sucks.
Well, I've heard 2 different things, so I don't know.
Quick side note, Jess, did you know that Tom Zarek was the original Starbuck
Yes,
from the original series?
because I looked up Starbucks character because I love spoilers.
Yeah.
I get so excited to Google spoilers so then I know what's happening.
That's so
So
dumb.
I don't care.
Do you do that with video games too?
No.
Why?
Because it's a different storyline.
It's
I
still a
have
story.
But I have more control of the story when I'm playing it. But when I'm watching it, I have 0 control. So then I have to Google this to figure out what's going to happen. And then I love watching for where they give you hints and clues and foreshadowing. That's the big word I was trying to find. It's not really that big. It's
Progeny.
like grade 8 English, but whatever.
I don't feel like your theory holds much water in the games versus TV show area. You have just as much control over a movie storyline as you do a game storyline. 0.
But it's more immersive, I think, in a gaming environment.
Well, speaking of friendship, Eric,
Yes.
are you planning
Magic.
on driving to LA again this year?
Yes, I actually just got all of the MTP crew signed up for it. They are... Kevin says that he's Nino Cooney serious about coming, which is pretty flippin' serious because they were all dogging on me about Nino Cooney, and I, on the last show, convinced him to go buy it, and he's plugged every second of free time he's had into that, so...
Well, here's what I was thinking this year.
Uh-oh.
Instead of me flying into LA, I would fly into Phoenix
Do it.
and then drive with you
Do it.
because I think it'd be cheaper for me to fly that way than fly straight to LA.
Yeah, from what it looks like right
And it
now...
would give you somebody to talk to in the car.
Well, I think Matt and whoever else comes down is going to fly down here too, so we'll have a whole
Oh.
crew riding out.
Look at that.
Yeah, so that's chitter chatter for another day.
Sure, but I just had you in the lines. I thought I'd ask.
Yes. Well,
And then people are gonna be jealous that we're all gonna be hanging out together.
what about
I'm jealous.
What about Jess?
I have this damn master's that I'm working on. Yeah.
You know, maybe if you said PhD, I'd let it slide.
We could totally build a case for why a retro video game podcast should be allowed into E3.
Obviously.
Yeah. Duh.
There's that whole retro section of E3.
There is not.
There is too.
It's way in the back corner.
It's what they always put it
obviously.
in the back. Yeah, last year they.
Oh, is that
not
the
last
place
year.
that didn't have anyone in it?
Yeah, it's literally just a table set up with all the old retro games, consoles, the arcades that are around the outside of it. 2 years ago, they were a big thing. 8-bit music was there, so like they were the actual bands that do 8-bit music.
Oh, nice.
Are you actually being serious? Because I was
I'm being-
lying.
I'm being totally serious. They put it in the back of the corner. The other year is kind of big because that was the same year that I believe that. No, that was the second year. But one year they had Steve Wiebe was there trying to beat the record. And it was kind of.
Is
big
that the
then.
douche from King of Kong?
It is, but it's not the douche. It's Billy. Billy's the bigger douche.
Yeah, that's his name.
I mean, he's a okay guy because he's really good at the game, but he comes off kind of douchey to me.
Could you imagine
offense,
your
Billy.
one claim to fame in life being, I had the highest score in Donkey Kong?
Dude, those people go nuts over it, man.
Okay, yeah, I put a man on the moon. Yeah, well, I got the highest score in Donkey Kong.
Well, you've not neither, so.
Thanks for reminding me how pitiful my life is, Jess.
I haven't either, so I'm in the same boat.
You probably eat poutine more on a daily basis than I do, which is an accomplishment in and of itself.
That's a lie. I can't eat poutine.
Why? You're
Because I'm
Canadian and you
allergic.
can't eat poutine?
I'm allergic to dairy, so that would leave me with soy cheese, but I'm also allergic to soy. I'm allergic to gluten.
Are you
so
allergic to strawberries?
No, I love
Do,
strawberries.
do you have PK?
PK?
Yeah.
Preeclampsia? Is that?
No, PK. It's like one of the worst allergics you
Oh,
can have.
like,
You just can't have protein. You can't break down protein, so pretty much every food is off limits to you.
Something? Yeah, no, I don't have that, but I can't have beef either. So poutines are out for me.
That sucks, because
I know.
poutine is pretty good. I actually had a hankering for some
no.
poutine the other day.
Wait, so you mean all that bragging on other shows with how good poutine is and how great poutine is, and you can't even eat it?
Well, I used to be able to eat it, and I still can recall memories in my mind about how
I
delicious
remember
it is.
because Eric was totally turned off till they went up there and had some.
I know.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, because if you've never had it and you've been talking it up, I don't know what else we can believe you about.
I'm the biggest liar in the whole world.
You are. I bet you
No,
don't
I
even
used
live
to
in
eat
Canada.
poutine all the time.
Well, speaking of lies,
I'm actually in the States. I'm American.
Pokemon Yellow.
Speaking of
let's,
lies,
let's
good
get
segue.
let's get into our games for this week, because I'm not too happy with the choices we had.
So do we want to do start with the worst or?
I'm trying. What was the? Okay, so the two games we had for this week were Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets for Game Boy Advance, and Jess so lovingly recommended Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of the guy that sent us the request for Harry Potter. Was it the guy that had the really... No, not Christian Turdvik or Tvardik. Sorry, I totally just butchered his last name. Sorry, Christian. Here we go. Topher White.
Wait. Okay, segue back before we get into this stuff.
Speaking of segues, I watched a video the other day that was entitled People Failing on Segways. And it was 15 minutes of just nothing but people falling off their Segway. It was flipping hilarious. And those things, when they crash, it's like a mini bomb goes off in those things. Just plastic everywhere.
Really?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's hilarious. Anyway, sorry. People were taking them off jumps. They had them at skate parks.
That's
Anyways,
what they're designed for.
Segway, yes, go.
Segue with
Segue.
Christian,
Yes.
because we didn't talk about Christian last show.
Oh, yeah, and we almost forgot to talk about him this show, too.
See, that's where the segue came in.
Okay, different kind of
Good
segue,
job.
though.
Two different Christophers.
Progeny. So, this show is just falling off the rails. Christian.
Because I derailed it so well at the
Oh, man,
beginning.
just instantly. So, Christian, the lovely fellow from Before Christmas, still cool dude, still play games with him. I was actually at his house today. He, speaking of progeny, just had his own child.
Well, congratulations to Christopher.
it's Christian.
Christian.
Once again, let's
Not listening.
So he is playing Daddy Homemaker and not sure about the frequency of which he'll be able to make the show. So we will fill in with nobody, Kev, or Oliver. So it's just a ragtag group of people we got going on here. So
At least I can make the shows. That's the one thing you can count me in on. I've made every show that we've started.
Okay, so back to the games. We are going to talk, unfortunately, about a movie-based game for the Game Boy Advance, which, in my opinion, is about as good as you could expect it to be, which isn't very good.
So, what is the plot of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the Game Boy Advance?
Have you watched the movie?
I have.
It's the movie.
It's the movie.
even down to the really crappy opening cutscenes that you have to suffer through, and it's abridged. And
Okay, now I have not read Harry Potter or seen the movies. Tell me about the plot of this game.
so
Okay.
Oh boy, you should probably take this because I will butcher it, and I do not want Harry Potter fans climbing down my throat.
So, Chamber of Secrets starts off when Harry is in second year. So he just killed the Horcrux, you find out later, that is Voldemort with the Philosopher's Stone.
The Horcrux?
Horcrux.
Okay.
I think I'm saying that right.
I guess I was under the impression the whole time I was playing this that this was the Sorcerer's Stone.
No, and it is the Philosopher's Stone. They changed the title for Americans, which is stupid.
Okay, well, we needed something a bit more tangible, something we could wrap our mind around.
Apparently.
So, Sorcerer sounds better than Philosopher.
Okay.
I disagree.
That
I
makes
think it
more
would've been way cooler.
sense.
Children had trouble pronouncing Philosopher.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
anyway,
Alright.
he is stuck at his aunt and uncle's house at the beginning of the game.
And
And what happens is Ron comes and they're driving. They stole his dad's flying car to grab Harry because he was miserable over the summer.
I feel like we should
So they
explain the fact that magic in the normal Harry world doesn't exist.
The Muggle world. You're not allowed to use it under the age of 16, I believe.
Yeah.
Or else you'll get in a lot of trouble.
So
I thought you
Harry
don't use magic at all in the real world.
Harry goes to a school called Hogwarts, and that's where magic happens, and not in a
School of
sexual
Witchcraft
way.
and Wizardry.
Yes. Are you like a Harry Potter complete nerd?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I am.
Okay.
So they go to the Burrow and they spend the rest of the summer at the Burrow, which is Ron's house. And
Bungalow.
then when they get to Hogwarts, stuff goes down. Harry starts hearing voices, and you find out that the Chamber of Secrets has been opened, which is this secret type of place
Chamber.
that no one wants to talk about, because the last time it was open, a mudblood who is someone who is half wizard, half human, I guess.
Half Muggle.
Yeah, half Muggle.
Not to be confused with Moogles from Final Fantasy.
There you go.
Have we
That's
lost
So,
you?
yeah.
Hermione. Hermione is a mudblood.
Hermione's a mudblood.
How do you know if you haven't seen or read any?
I said assume that I haven't, so the people who listen to the show who's never actually read or seen it know what we're talking
I
about.
thought we were doing this for you.
No, this is for the listeners.
Oh. Okay. So, continue.
So, continuing. Chamber of Secrets was open. Now Harry has to figure out where it is, what's going on, and how to stop it.
Okay, so pick up on the game here. Quick side. Thugs in the Burrow? What is that?
She said they went to the Burrow, and this one goes out to all my thugs in the Burrow. Came into my head.
My God. So, quick side note on movie games. I'm pretty sure any self-respecting gamer out there knows to avoid any video game based on a movie for the simple fact that it's probably going to be crap for a number of reasons. It's its release date is slated around the release of the movie, so oftentimes they have very, very, very short production times, and they're very campy and geared towards kids, which this one obviously is.
So you play as Harry, but you also get Ron and Hermione in your
Entourage.
Entourage.
Your thug group.
They're tugging it out. So you get them, they join you, and you basically go around doing little quests until you're able to...
I feel like they aren't so
open the
much
chamber.
quests as they are bitch work
Boring.
for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I lost my toad in the back of the shop. Can you go get it for me? No, go get your own
There
toad.
were toads.
There was only
Multiple.
one.
I thought there was more than
In the
that.
very beginning, I'm going to admit right now that anytime text popped up on the screen, I was just clicking through it.
So did I actually.
I had no interest in what this game had to tell me aside from this is the menu and here's what you do with it. That's it. Anybody's talking, I'm like, yep, screw you, don't care. And then I found myself super lost because I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. But I will say I was kind of impressed at the fact that this game had a menu option for quests that you could go into and it would tell you what you were supposed to be doing. So,
Well, that's cool. I like games that have that.
unfortunately, I wouldn't have had to go in there and waste my time in a menu had I just taken 2 seconds to read what Neville was telling me about his toad.
Okay,
Oh,
do
Neville.
not diss Neville. He turns into a hottie bo body towards the end of those
Oh,
movies.
God. The only hottie boo body is Emma Watson. We used to, in college, when I was in Milwaukee, my dorm mates and I would have Harry Potter nights, probably 3 nights a week. And that's back when the third movie had just come out, so we only had 3 movies to choose from. So it was always just Harry Potter 1, 2, and 3 over and over and over and over.
Oh,
That's
my gosh.
awesome.
And I've never watched a Harry Potter since. I've never read any of the books, so I don't know what it was. But I will say at the beginning of this game, what initially turned me off to it is that it's this top-down 3D isometric view, so you're not looking directly to the side or top down. You're kind of at that cockeyed third view or third degree. So when you press to the right, he doesn't go technically to the right. So
Oh, I hate backwards stuff like that.
you're always holding a direction button to get to where you need to go. And it makes navigation really
Pain in the
difficult.
butt.
Yeah, you want
Fred
to
doesn't like it either. Hey, at least you're not vacuuming.
Jess, how far did you actually make
I
it
wasn't
into this?
vacuuming. How far did I make it? I made it to the basilisk.
I don't know what that
And-
means.
That's like, I think it would probably be the final fight that you have to do.
You made it to the
Because
end of the
that's-
game?
I think so.
Oh my god. I didn't even make it past the shopping list for Haggard.
But I'm a Harry Potter fan, so it was kind of,
Okay.
it wasn't as painful for me.
I'm
Right.
How long is it?
Still painful.
How many hours did you put into this? Or how many hour?
Maybe 10?
What?
Embarrassing.
You put 10 hours into this?
I think so.
I made it 10 minutes.
I know, but I was really hoping this would be fun because
Well, it must have
Harry
been fun
Potter.
if you kept playing it for 10 hours. There are $60 games that I've purchased for and haven't put that much time into.
But because of the way that the battles worked, you could kind of just keep hitting, like, the A button. And then you didn't really have to cognitively think about what you're doing. Like, you didn't really have to put a lot of effort into the game.
No, I don't think I ever took a single ounce of damage from an enemy in the time that I played. That for some reason, you show up at the market, and you need to go into your bank vault, and there's this 3-level volcano layer under this bank. And
It's Gringotts. It's the safest place in the wizarding world.
Okay, thanks for that. I don't care. The simple fact that I would have to trudge through all that and potentially die, and when he gets down there, he only takes out $5.
Yeah, I know, that pissed me off. I'm like, really?
There's mountains of
gold.
unprotected gold. Who knows who it belongs to? And you take $5.
That's all his gold. He owns it all.
How did he get that much gold?
Because his parents were rich, and then they died, and then they left it all to him.
So he's like Batman.
I would say Batman's more awesome.
Okay.
I'd hope so.
Okay. So tell me more about this, because I got really frustrated and tired of these typical fetch and retrieve quests.
That's basically what the game was.
Really?
Was go here, do this, and then I found there wasn't really a lot to do outside of that. There wasn't a lot of areas that you could explore. Some areas were locked. One room, I think, was only open once in the game.
The puzzle aspect wasn't terrible. You get your different spells like Flipendo and Flamo, whatever it's called. Incendo? Is that it?
I think so.
Okay. So you have to use different spells on different items or on different objects to release treasure chests or open doors. Is that pretty much it, or do the puzzles get more complex throughout the game?
A little bit, but nothing really, like, I don't know. I just didn't find it was really beefy.
No, but you found it beefy enough to put 10 hours into?
No, because it was so... it wasn't beefy enough that you could just kind of, like, go through it on autopilot. Like, I'd be eating my breakfast and I would just have it going.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
10 days of breakfast eating for an hour.
I'm going to eat this bagel really slow.
No bagels for me.
Oh, I'm going to eat this... What can you eat? I'm going to eat this cream cheese and lox real... No, you can't have dairy. What the hell can you eat?
I have lots of coconut stuff.
I'm going to have these string beans. Now we're going to get to that chamber of secrets.
Yeah, save Ginny. It's basically what it was.
So I don't mean to bash on Topher's nostalgic value here. As far as movie games are concerned, I've played ones that are a lot worse. I could see where this one would have some appeal, especially to Harry Potter fans of the younger ages. The Game Boy Advance is by and far dead, so I don't think you're going to find too many kids clamoring for a Harry Potter game.
I think you would like Monster House.
Me?
Yep.
Why?
For the Game Boy Advance.
Why?
Because it plays identical to Zelda.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to believe you.
No, it's true.
Monster House.
It's a movie-based game.
The one movie-based games that I really liked were the Lord of the Rings games on PS2. For some reason, those were really good. But I honestly can't think of any other movie-based games that I have enjoyed.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot, I can tell you that. That's for sure.
There's a lot of movie-based games, but there's not a whole lot that are good.
They're good. Yeah.
I don't even know if I own any. I know I have some cartoon-based games back on the Super Nintendo, like the Ren and Stimpy game.
It's a good one.
No, it's not.
I think if you look at them as, like, just whatever, like, this isn't really a game, it's kind of a, I don't know.
It's a
Depends
marketing
on your perspective.
tool. I think it's a marketing tool. And they know that kids are going to buy it, or kids are going to want to buy it simply because they enjoy Harry Potter. So I wonder how old Topher was when he played this. Because he said that it was the very first game he ever owned and beat. So the Game Boy Advance was
about 15 to 20 years ago.
No, God, no, it wasn't. I was
Game
old.
Boy Advance?
Yeah, you're thinking Game Boy Color.
Oh, maybe. Well,
Was
the
it
the SP didn't come out until after 2000, so it's at least 10 years old.
Oh, yeah, I think it was like 97. I'm going to fact check myself right now. Oh my gosh. It was 2001 in North America. That was the crappy unlit back screen one.
Right.
That even if you were playing in direct sunlight, you still couldn't see what the hell was going on. Yet that was
I remember
still
selling lots of those little lights. I remember selling lots of those little like, snake lights. For
The
that.
spiral ones.
Yeah.
You could get a mod where you could backlight your screen, but once the backlit ones came out, that thing was easily one of the best handheld systems of all time.
For sure.
So, I don't know, Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, Game Boy Advance, I would give it a mildly annoying to not stupid.
Not stupid. That's a good rating.
No, it was a not pause, and I was trying to figure out what word I was going to put after that, so then, in case people forgot that I said not, I put it in there again.
You said it again, so...
But yeah, let's go with not stupid, because then it is stupid. It's kind of a dumb game.
I wouldn't play it again.
No, God, no. But it was an experience.
But thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, I think the next time a movie-based game pops up, we're going to just say no thanks.
Right.
So, the other one on the list here was the lovely treat that I have been avoiding for 20-some-odd years of my life. Good old Pokemon.
A long time to avoid it.
It is. And it was like an active avoiding, too, because I had...
Oh, someone's phone.
Wow.
I'm going to mute.
Oh, okay, so he's got more important things to do. So
He's popular.
he is. He's got his dog talking to him. He's probably got his wife calling him. Wow. So I've had people over the years say, you really got to play Pokemon. And I got my cousins into video games, and they all got hooked on Pokemon. And they're like, if you ever play this, this is great. And for me, it was more or less, no, I'm going to refuse to play this. And I never had any decent reason why other than, no, I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
Did you fall into the Pokemon craze at its height, or were you a late adopter?
I was like a Pokemon card collector when they first came out.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How stacked was your deck?
It was so stacked. It was awesome.
Did you used to go to those little Pokemon championship things and school little 8-year-olds?
Well, at school. But, like, we used to play, like, me, my sister, and my cousins used to play Pokemon cards a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we played at school a little bit, but not a lot. But then when the games came out, we played the games as well. I honestly can't remember how to play the Pokemon card game now. But
it's all stat-based, like Magic and
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Element-based.
Yeah.
But when they came out, I was like, they're pretty appealing to girls if you think about the cute Pokemon, and you got to collect them all. That's what I was like super into when they came out.
You probably liked the Tamagotchis too.
Oh god, Nanos were so much better than Tamagotchi.
I feel like we've
not
had
this conversation.
I feel like we've had this conversation before.
You know, I think Pokemon was kind of neat as a game when there was only like 100 to choose from, and you had to collect them all. Now there's like over 400.
Okay, so
yeah.
Pokemon Yellow was there an original game just called Pokemon? The very first one was just called Pokemon, right?
I think it was Red or Blue.
Okay, those
Blue
were
the
first
one,
two.
I believe.
And then, so Yellow is technically the third.
Yeah, it's the Pikachu edition.
So those initial 3 games, did they all have the same Pokemon in them?
Yeah.
So
you didn't start with the same ones, though.
So why... Explain this to me. Why would somebody want to own all 3 then, if it's the exact same game?
Oh, no, wait. I think in Red you had Charmander, but you couldn't get Charmander in, like, the Blue or the Yellow.
And
I think there were some that were specific to each game.
Did Blue have
Yes.
Bulbasaur or Squirtle?
Probably Squirtle.
Okay.
And Eric, they did this in all the Pokemon games.
I know, which is just absolutely mind-blowing that...
They make 2 of everyone, and one's like a boy and one's like a girl trainer.
So it's like Harvest Moon.
And you start with a different... There's Pokemon you have access to in one that you get eventually in the other one, but the other one you can only get in the certain one. And then if you buy both, then you can get both in either one.
That is the best damn marketing scheme ever.
It's almost as good as Skylanders.
Hey, we are going to make a game, but then guess what? We're going to copy and paste it onto this cartridge and put a different sticker on it and sell it for the same price.
Yep.
And then guess what? A year and a half later, we're going to take the same game and we're going to copy and paste it onto another 2 cartridges and put 2 different stickers on it and sell it for more.
You're just jealous you didn't think of this a long time ago.
I'm actually kind of upset. But then again, it's like Harvest Moon, where I feel like Harvest Moon is a bigger offender in this category because I can understand how Pokemon evolves over the ages, but Harvest Moon, it's the same damn concept. Here's your farm, here's a hoe, grow me some vegetables.
It's like Farmville.
Yeah.
Or the Smurfs.
So, Pokemon. I played it, and my initial reaction was, fuck this game. This game's dumb.
That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, I even tweeted out, it may have been the dumbest game I ever played.
I think you mentioned something about cyanide pills as well.
Well, I think the whole progression of that conversation was Pokemon Yellow might be the dumbest game I've ever played, and I've played Dragon Power. And so Dragon Power for me at that point ranked higher than Pokemon. But then Jess said something about Harry Potter. This must have been before you got crack addicted to it, because you said something about this game's terrible, # switching to Pokemon, and I said I'm going to take a cyanide pill rather than...
Yeah, I know, and then I had breakfast and played it again.
It was breakfast. Harry Potter over breakfast. It must be the best way to have it.
Yep.
God. So, Aaron, you're a big Pokemon guy, aren't you?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if you were. You're Skylanders.
And
I'm
Smurfs.
Skylanders and Smurfs.
Okay.
And Dragon Ball.
Dragon Balls?
Dragon Ball Z?
God, that was my favorite thing to do when kids come into the store. Like, you got that Dragon game? Like, yeah, you're looking for Dragon Balls? And they're like, it's Dragon Ball Z. Like, there's a Z there. It's Dragon Balls. Here you go. So...
But I know Pokemon a little bit. Like, I know I used to watch the cartoon.
I did too. That's the one thing I remember is coming home from my paper route in the morning from middle school, and it was my guilty pleasure over a bowl of Captain Crunch watching Pokemon.
The cereal.
Yeah.
Granted, I used to go home after school and watch the Toxic Avenger.
The Toxic Avenger?
They made a Toxic Avenger cartoon.
I don't know who that is.
Why are we friends?
I heard. I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah. It was classic stuff, man. It's classy.
So, Jess, why did you choose Pokemon Yellow over all of the other ones?
Because I had it.
For Pikachu.
Okay.
And I love Pikachu.
Okay.
I do really like Pikachu.
You know, the problem with Pikachu is I watch a lot of Chelsea Handler, and she has a different term for Pikachu.
What is
What
she
is her
called?
term?
It would be what makes you a woman.
Vagina?
Yeah.
How does that even work?
I don't know. That's what she calls it. So I just find it really funny when you're like,
Oh,
love
that's what she
Pikachu.
named.
I
That's
love
what
Pikachu.
That's what she calls
Yeah, did she
her.
name her Pikachu Vagina?
No, she named her vagina Pikachu.
Yeah, that's what she calls all ladies' parts like that.
Oh, now I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Aaron is using his daddy censorship for this.
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know
Lady
who
bits.
all listens to this. You know, and some people play this at work.
I'm pretty sure they don't just have it going in the office. Like, hey guys, mind if we put on the latest Factory Sealed episode?
I don't know. That one guy said that when we were out, he needed it at work to make his days go by better.
I'm sure he works some area where
Put
he can
some
have
earbuds.
headphones.
True.
I don't think he's working with clients.
I don't know. I put on the show at work.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does anybody ask about it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah? What do you tell them? Do you tell them how sweet we are?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they go,
And then talks to
you
them.
just like to listen to your own voice. Shut it off.
You're fired. So, all right, we keep getting derailed. That's
The
just
worst show
'cause we're
ever.
talking about Pokemon. It's easy.
I guess, but we're not
Yes.
even talking about Pokemon anymore.
But you watched you watched Pokemon when you were younger.
I did, and for some strange reason, it was Ash, and what's the girl's name?
Misty.
Misty.
And they were after Team Rocket.
Yeah, I at that point had a crush on Misty.
Everyone did.
Yeah, and I'm like, why do I not play Pokemon? But
in the game, she's a gym leader, so you don't hang out with her.
okay, good. Then I don't feel as bad. But I think I didn't want to play Pokemon because in my circle of friends who did play video games, which was very small, like I was the biggest gamer out of all of them, I feel like had they known I played Pokemon, it would have just leveled my social status to 0. Because
The worst. Yeah.
And all your friends were probably closet Pokemon players.
Probably.
You just missed out.
And I could have skyrocketed my social status to just rock stardom, but I
And they
wasn't.
probably
Well,
talked about it all the time.
obviously.
And you'd get to the table and they'd all hush.
Like, this guy doesn't play Pokemon. Don't talk
He's
to him
not in the
about it.
club.
He plays Final Fantasy.
What a
Nerd.
loser.
God, he must like storyline. Let's talk about a game that has no storyline.
Want to trade my Bulbasaur for your Squirtle?
That sounds so bad. If you had no idea what Pokemon was as a teacher and you heard kids talking about that,
Oh my god. Well, Squirtle sounds pretty bad.
you mind if my Squirtle attacks your Bulbasaur?
Yeah, in the Game Boy, wasn't it one of the ones, too, in the early Game Boy Color games where you could, save a certain spot and then switch cartridges with somebody to borrow it to get their Pokemon because they didn't have the Wi-Fi stuff set up yet? They had the link cable didn't exist yet.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
I didn't know about
How
that.
would it do? Oh, and then you just pull the cartridge out
Yeah, and then you pull it out and put yours back in. And then it
while the
would
game
save
is still
here.
on.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty.
That's
For some
sneaky.
reason, I thought something did that. Maybe that wasn't the Game Boy Color, but
I wasn't a cheater, so I don't know about that.
So, okay, here are my thoughts coming from somebody who didn't grow up playing Pokemon, who really had no interest in Pokemon, and still, for all intents and purposes, doesn't care one bit about Pokemon. Initially, I was super turned off to it, and then I came back to it again over the course of the past couple days, and my mind changed a little bit about it. I'm like, yeah, this really isn't that bad. Minus the lack of any story whatsoever. The combat system wasn't terrible. The concept of capturing the Pokemon, it was intriguing, and I could really see why people would get hooked on this. But the one reason I came back to give it another chance is because lately I've been playing a lot of Ni no Kuni. And anybody who's played that yet knows that that game is basically... It basically has all of Pokemon as a side quest in that game, like 100% of it. There are 400 different creatures in that game that you can capture in battle, and then you can level them up, give them different abilities, give them different armor and weapons, and I was really enjoying that. So then I thought, well, if I'm really enjoying this, then I might like Pokemon. But coming back to it, yeah, I enjoyed it a little bit more, but I still think my main issue with this game and potentially with this whole series is the complete and total lack of any sort of story.
The story is very simple.
Give me the
You're
story in a
Ash.
nutshell. Okay, my guy's name is not Ash.
Yes. We'll leave it at that.
His rival's name is not what it should be either.
Gary. So, Professor Oak is, I guess, your mentor. Like, I feel like Ash doesn't have a dad. I don't really remember that.
He's an orphan.
But, no, he has a mom. And his mom is cool with Ash just going off, gonna go train Pokemon. That's what he wants to do.
Well, he
So-
sits upstairs in his room and plays Super Nintendo from time to time.
Yeah, that's true. But Professor Oak gives him a Pokédex to go and record different Pokemon, so then Professor Oak can learn more about Pokemon. And he goes off and goes on an adventure, and at each town you have a gym, and if you beat the gym leader, you get a badge, and then you can get like go to
The next town.
get the rainbow badge at the end, which means that you beat everyone and you're the number one
Pokemon trainer.
So
Yeah,
what
you're
you
the very
do
best.
in the very first town is pretty much the extent of the depth of that game.
Well, you do, like, there's some towns that you have to fight off. Like, one of them, you have to fight off a gang, and then the other ones, you have to fight Team Rocket. And Team Rocket's kind of like your arch nemesi. There's two of them, I guess. Would that be a plural?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Nemesi sounds right.
Okay.
Nemesi. So it's Jesse and James, and they're Team Rocket, and they cause a ruckus, so you have to beat them.
All right. And who's that little? I forget. Is it? It's not Mewtwo, but Meowth.
Meowth.
Meow.
Meow.
Meowth with the TH.
Meowth.
Meowth.
Yes.
Okay.
Meowth.
And that's the
Meowth and Pikachu were the main good and bad Pokemon in that game. I remember, or in the series, the Pokemon universe.
So that's the extent of the storyline.
Pretty much.
And see, I think the reason that I really enjoy the Pokemon aspect of Ni no Kuni is that you can step away from it, and there's this whole other game that's wrapped around it, so that I get bored with that really quick. And I found that happening to me in Pokemon Yellow here is that it's like, all right, I've done 60 battles. What do I get to do next? Oh, another 60 battles. Awesome.
Well, yeah, I just started playing it again, I would say last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not the Christmas that just happened, but a year ago. So I've been playing it for like a year and a month. And I'm just getting to the final gym now. Like, it's something that I play and then I put down for a long time and then I play again.
Mm-hmm.
But then every now and again you get a craving to play Pokemon.
I don't feel like I ever would. And I can understand why people would, because it's simple, it's easy, it's quick to pick up. But for me, there is just not a lot there. And everyone's like, well, it's so deep, it's so immersive, you get to level up your Pokemon. It's like, you really don't, because if they fight in battle, so what I found a way to glitch the system, and it said,
of course you did.
Regardless of how long your Pokemon fights in battle, they will get experience for that battle. So what I would do is...
you put your weak ones first and then change them right away.
I wouldn't even have them attack. I would just switch it, and then go to Pikachu and end the battle.
Yeah.
So it just... There was no depth to this game for me.
I think if you're not into Pokemon, it would be a really awful game.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole point is to collect and make, like, an awesome team that... And I think you want to pick the Pokemon with strengths, and going into a different gym, you have to look at, like, Misty uses water Pokemon, so you want to use electric Pokemon because they have...
Yeah.
Their moves are more effective. So there's stuff like that when it comes into it, but literally, I just really like collecting my favorite ones.
And that would make it fun. I mean,
Yeah.
That would be fun to do, to go out and get the ones you want.
See, I guess from what I heard from other people, too, is that these initial Pokemons, like Red and Blue and Yellow, and then getting into Leaf Green and the Emerald ones, those ones had... Yeah, Ruby, that's what I was looking for. Those had the true Pokemon, but lately the series has kind of fallen off because they get into, like, the really cutesy stuff, like a snow cone and an ice cream cone and a lantern. And
Yeah, now they have, like, I don't know how many Pokemon they have, but there's no way. Like, I'm original Pokemon. That's all I can remember.
Do they, in the new games, do they still have the 150 original on top of the 300 whatever new ones?
I believe so, yes. From my interactions with my customers that play the games.
Because, sorry to keep bringing up Ni no Kuni, but it's the best comparison I can come up with, is that I can see that desire to want to collect all of them, because there's 400 different beasts in Ni no Kuni that you can collect, and I want to actively collect all of them. So I can see where that appeal is, but like I said, for me there has to be that option to not do that for a little bit. Otherwise, I would burn out on it.
Well,
Yeah.
Pokemon did evolve from Yellow and Blue and Green, and the Emerald and things like that. And now even I can't remember if it's the Mystery Dungeon series, but I did play a Mega Man game once for the Game Boy Advance, and it pretty much played exactly like a Pokemon game. So if you played any of those Mega Man games on the Game Boy Advance, like I think was it
Legends?
I think it was Legends and X3. And
No, not Legends. It was the Battle Network.
Yeah, Battle Network. Yeah, there we go. Because I had some customers come in, I had to help them get to certain levels, and then as I was helping other kids with their games, it reminded me a lot of the Pokemon games, where you're rocking around, you go talk to the people, you got to collect this, and then you go to a fight, and you can battle people.
Are you the type of guy that's known in the local schools as, hey, if you can't beat this level, take it to the nerd down at GameStop. He'll pass it for you.
I used to be that guy. I don't know if I'm that anymore because I don't even play these games anymore. But I don't have
hilarious.
any handheld systems. But yeah, they'd come to me to get tricks and stuff. So
Jeez,
of course, it's been a few years.
The go-to guy. So I don't foresee myself playing another Pokemon game ever. I honestly don't.
I can understand that.
And it's not that I didn't give it a fair shake. I like the concept, and I can understand why people like it, but I need more. I need something more to sink my teeth into.
I honestly don't think I would play, like, I played Pokemon, was it Snap, where you took pictures of Pokemon?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that's pretty much all you did. I liked that game when I was younger.
What was the other N64 one? There was the Pokemon Puzzle Quest, where it was like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
I can't remember the name.
It was just this. It was like a Tetris style game, or like Dr. Mario type game.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't play that one, but I don't think I would play a new Pokemon game.
Well, if I did play a Pokemon through to completion, I don't think I would have any desire to play another one because it's so similar.
That's where it comes in that you're like actively like you want to collect the Pokemon. So I don't think unless there's a draw to you, like you're saying, I don't think it's worth it.
But again, it's strange because I really enjoy the Harvest Moon games, and at its core, those games don't change at all except for the town that you're in and the people you come across. But they don't have any bearing on the outcome of the game. You still spend eternity just growing corn.
So I guess that would be similar to someone who's continuously buying the newer Pokemon games because the new editions of the Pokemon or the different starters or stuff like that.
And they're highly collectible now, too, where people are always trying to find them.
The original Pokemons?
The original Pokemons, yeah.
How much do those sell for now?
Last I heard is I think Ruby is going for like $50 on eBay.
I should have picked all those up when I worked at GameStop for $5.
Right. Even at the end of our cycle, those Pokemon games went up in price.
Jeez.
Comparison. How much did you buy Harry Potter or did you emulate it?
I did not buy it.
Okay.
Now, there's a reason why I also did not play either of these two games. Because the last time I said, I don't have a way of playing these, and you guys said, we'll get you a way.
I believe Eric said that. I'm off the hook.
And I did not get a way.
We did get you a way, you just did not take the way.
Where is this way?
The way is in a mystical folder that hides out in the ethereal nothingness that is the internet.
Okay.
I feel like you deleted that folder.
Yeah, it's not there. I looked.
Oh. Well, I will get you a way soon.
Because there is a game that I would like to talk about today.
What?
That I cannot believe that I never played.
What's that?
And that's the Fire Emblem series.
Oh, because the new Fire Emblem comes out next week.
And I got the chance to play that today.
How is it?
And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's the RPG, it's a lot of storyline, but the battle system, and from what I was told, the original one is very similar with how you do your battles and you play.
Mm-hmm.
And so, normally you can go to a fight, and then normally in like an RPG, it's a cutscene, and you go and you pick what your moves are and stuff. And in this one, you are on like a big map, and you have your characters can move so far. So it kind of reminded me of Eye of the Beholder or D&D, where you can only move so far, and then you can attack if you want to, and then it's the bad guys' turns to go, and they get to move and attack, and then you can switch around. You can actually pair people together. So sometimes they make them stronger or have a healer with at the same time. So I think I was only put the demo of it today for the 3DS, but I wouldn't mind playing the original Fire Emblem series because I've never played it before. And if that's the way the original plays, because it sounds like it's exactly the way the original played as well, that I missed out.
Those are Game Boy Advance games, right?
Yes. I believe they made 2.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm just looking up when those came out. Oh, wow. Those are 10 years ago already.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Yeah. We could.
And if I could get that on my phone somehow, that would be sweet.
Emulating on your phone's a little bit more difficult and a little shittier.
Or my Vita.
There you go. Your Vita.
I
you
have
won't
my
be able
playbook, and I want to try that.
Your playbook?
BlackBerry playbook.
The hell's that?
It's a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
But it's a tablet.
A lot of those apps you have to purchase the full version. They have free versions, but they won't allow you to load your save game.
Right. I do have an Android phone that I can use. It's not active, but I can still use the market on it.
Yeah, that you still have to purchase the full version. And using the touchpad or the touchscreen controls for retro games kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But so
either way,
let's talk a little bit about what we want to do for next time, because there is a specific game that Kevin requested. Not necessarily requested, but we were talking about this on the Manatang podcast, or maybe after the show or something. But one of the questions came up. What was a game that you played as a kid that you kind of regret or don't like admitting that you played it? So nowadays, looking back, what was a game you played as a kid that you're kind of embarrassed that you played?
Are we answering, or is this rhetorical?
You can answer it just out of curiosity. What do you think? Because
Toy Story for Game Boy Color.
What was it?
Toy Story.
Oh my god. Because the one that I played, Kev was, I was fully expecting him to just rip into me, but he's like, no way, dude. I played that game too. And I think that's one that we should play for next time with him.
I have no idea. What game is it?
Well, tell us what yours is first.
I'm trying to think of one that I regret playing.
The Smurfs for PlayStation 1?
I don't regret playing that. That was a fun
I
game.
second that.
Dumb.
I played Taboo the Sixth Sense. That's probably the one I wish I never would have put money into and played.
What?
And call that a game.
Taboo? What system?
Taboo the Sixth Sense. It was on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Like TABOO?
It was like a
heard of it.
Ouija board game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I feel like that would be fun.
Retarded.
I've got the, I think I might have that.
I don't know. I guess I honestly, off the top of my head, can't think of a game that I was like, I'm embarrassed to admit that I played, or wish I never did play.
Okay, so
I didn't play Haze. Otherwise, I'd probably say that maybe, but...
So we're going to say Smurfs for you.
yeah, Smurfs.
All right,
you.
Smurfs. I regret playing the Smurfs.
So, when I was in kindergarten through about 4th grade, I used to get picked up by my babysitter and go back to her house after school till my parents were done, and they had a regular Nintendo, which was
Did you play Babysitter's Club?
no, worse. It was kind of a big deal that they had a Nintendo, and she had an older son who was probably 5-6 years older than me, and would always kind of play games with me and whatnot. But one day they had The Little Mermaid for NES.
Why would you be embarrassed?
Well, that's the thing. It's embarrassing to say, like, yeah, I played The Little Mermaid, but what's even more embarrassing is to say the fact that, like, that is probably one of my most enjoyable memories from playing games
I was
as a
going to
kid.
suggest that game earlier, but I thought you guys would laugh at me.
No, because I truly remember that being one of the first games that I ever beat on my own, and then really, really enjoyed it. And that's when I kind of thought to myself, like, boy, I really like playing video games. And it's terrifying to think that The Little Mermaid made me realize that I like video games.
I have a Little Mermaid poster in our office. In some of our wedding pictures, it's in the background, which is funny.
It's not a bad game. That's the thing. So I think that's one that we're going to play for next week. And Kev wants to be on the show next week to play Little Mermaid with us. So.
I'm totes excited.
I can play that one. I'm in.
Nice. Because yes. I remember that was before the trend of movie games started. Movie game sucking started.
Right.
So
because back then it was still the cool way. You could only make a game a certain way. And it was good. It's like Back to the Future. It's pretty much Paperboy.
Well, and the other one that I remember being really good, like unbelievably good, was Aladdin on the Genesis. The Super Nintendo version, not so much. I don't remember why.
I never played that one.
But Aladdin was fantastic. So
I remember playing Aladdin. Aladdin was good.
Aladdin was great. So yes, next week. Let's try to do this next week. Let's all play through Little Mermaid.
Same
it's not a long game, is it?
No, I was saying that's probably a game you can. Most of those NES games you could beat, but besides the RPGs, you could beat in a matter of a couple hours.
Depending on your level of frustration.
I just remember Ursula being kind of a bitch.
She always is.
Because she was a bitch.
So
I hate her.
Do we have any other mind-blowing suggestions that we want to make?
Can I tell a funny story before?
Absolutely.
So, I loved Little Mermaid. Like, that was my movie when I was growing up.
Okay.
And my hamsters, I named the first one that I got Ariel. And then Ariel died. And then I got another hamster later. And she was Ariel too. And then that hamster lasted a while. And then my third hamster was named Sailor Moon. So you can tell the ages that I was.
You didn't think to just stop naming them Ariel after they died?
No, well, the second one was like a tribute to the first Ariel because she was an awesome hamster.
That's like no.
Wait, is your name Ursula?
Yeah.
You just kept killing the Ariel on purpose.
Speaking of the Little Mermaid, and this might just be the English teacher in me, but do you guys know the true story of the Little Mermaid?
Didn't we talk about this?
I think. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but it's I believe it's a Brothers Grimm tale, if I'm not mistaken.
It's also, I think, it is a...
Yes, it's the Brothers Grimm.
And it's a Disney one, too, well, of course, Disney.
Yep, it's a famous Disney movie.
Disney Disneyfied it.
Yeah. But
Disneyfied it, yeah.
If you don't know...
That's what I was trying to go with.
If you don't know who the Brothers Grimm are, pretty much any popular Disney movie or current fairy tale that you know has some sort of origin with the Brothers Grimm. It's either the Brothers Grimm, which is really dark and sadistic and kind of scary, or
not bedtime stories.
Hans Christian Andersen, who was the good storyteller. So the original Little Mermaid, it's been a while since I've read it, is very dark, very grim. A lot of people die, and she ends up not getting her wish at the end and is like confined to live on the land with her fins. I don't remember the exact.
I thought she turned into sea foam.
Did she? She may.
I think so.
I'm gonna have to read it again before we play the game. But I love reading Brothers Grimm's because it's just like, hey, this is a really happy story that you know. Nope, it started with murder. So.
And looking at, I loved The Little Mermaid when I was younger, but looking at the storyline now, I kind of feel like it's not a great message to send to little girls.
No, it's really not. It's like change everything about who you are to be with this guy. Like 100%.
Give up your voice just so you can get a chance to talk to him, and then maybe he'll fall in love with you, and then say goodbye to your family.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the end of the story here, and I think she does die and turn into sea foam. It's terrible. There's nothing kind about this story. But unfortunately, the game we'll be playing is a lot more along the lines
friendly?
Of the original Disney story. Yeah, there's no guns, there's no murder.
There is murder,
So,
but you deserved
okay.
it.
So we're going to play Little Mermaid,
Yes.
and we're going to be on next week. And is Kevin going to be joining us?
Kevin is going to join us next week.
Okay. So when you played this, and it sounds like Jessica liked it, what are some of the things that you enjoyed playing it your first time through?
I don't remember a whole lot about it, but at that point, the only games I really remember playing were the original Mario, Duck Hunt, and then Bad News Bears, the baseball game. And my babysitter's oldest son, I always wanted to play that, and I hated that game. And I think that was a precursor to my hatred towards sports games of all genres, with the exception of Base Wars. Did you ever play Base Wars?
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was a baseball game that you played as robots, and if you kept hitting them with the ball enough times, they'd explode and get into fistfights.
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I ever played it.
So, I don't know. I can't peg what it is about this game that I really enjoyed. I'm hoping that this isn't going to be one of those games that I go back to. I'm like, yeah, that game's actually kind of shitty.
Well, we'll see. I think I always go back and I enjoy playing those original ones because it makes me remember how good games used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the simplicity of it, you know what I mean? So.
What else should
Oh,
we...
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Whenever she walks, it makes her feel like she's walking on swords. So she's in constant pain, and she still tries to be with the prince.
Yeah.
And he's a jerk.
Yet she loves him. Do yourself a favor, kids. Go out and read some Brothers Grimm. Get some perspective on life.
You guys think Grimm is a bad show compared to Once Upon a Time?
I'm talking true
Fun is so
Brothers
much
Grimm. All right.
Yeah.
You guys want to read an email or two?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't screen these. Again.
You never do.
Okay, we've got... This first one actually isn't a question. It's more of a... And we really like getting these emails. So send us email, factorysealed@manatank.com. This one comes from Nick Stevens, or Steffens. I'm going to go with Stevens, because it's Phens. He says, Dear Factory Sealed crew, love the show. Also love the fact that you talk about what game you'll be playing and discussing on the next show. I think it'd be fun if you could involve us listeners into that conversation. We could also play the game and you could read our email messages with our quick views and discuss if you agree. I like the idea of being involved in the podcast. Thanks again for great work. It's nice to hear podcasts from everyday working people instead of these so-called professional game critics. Thanks. Nick Stevens from Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Oh,
They can always tweet us, too.
it's true.
Yeah, but
Like,
Some people aren't on.
I like
some people aren't
this.
on Twitter. It took me forever to
That's
get
true.
on Twitter.
for
That
me,
was a good
though,
email. I like that email.
Yeah,
That was,
Yeah.
I like it when we get suggestions like this. I like that idea. I really do. Hopefully, people play along with what we're playing, and then can kind of know what we're talking about as they're listening to the show. But I like that idea. If you want to play along with what we're doing, and then just throughout the course of you playing it, it doesn't matter when. Emails will sit in the inbox till I check them 20 seconds before I read them. I'll be a little bit better. I guess what we should do then is, if you're going to do that, in the subject line, put opinion and then : name of the game. That way, when we're talking about the specific game, if you want to send us your quick opinion, what you liked, what you didn't like, I think that would help add some good discussion to the discussion.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that'll be really
that'd
fun.
be a good idea. I'm behind this plan.
Woo! All right, let me see. I got to quickly screen another email here. We got Gator Fan. Doesn't have an actual name. I like his email, Captain Pineapple. He
You would.
Yeah, maybe he's just pandering to my love of pineapples. He says, Dear Factory Seal crew, I am growing up in the current era of gaming, starting when the Wii came out in 2006. Your show has interested me to try some of the Game Boy Advance SP versions of Mega Man, and I was wondering, since you guys know almost everything about Mega Man, which one should I get? Thanks for the help and keep up the great work. I'm going to preface this with saying my love for Mega Man ends with Mega Man 8 and then picks up again with the remade 9 and 10. Nothing else exists. The ones we mentioned before, Battle Network and Legends, don't even waste your time.
Oh, it was Mega Man Zero. That was a series.
Even so,
That I was thinking of.
I'm going to be an elitist Mega Man prick on this and say 1 through 8, not the PlayStation versions. 1 through 8, and then X1 through... Did they have... How many X's did they have? 6?
Did they have 10?
I don't think
they had 10 X's.
I don't think they did.
It was 8. I don't remember.
Anyway, play the original Mega Mans and play the Mega Man X games and be done with it. I would, because you're not going to get a true feel of what Mega Man is unless you're looking for that Pokemon style game.
So I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Then you'd be all right.
I saw Mega Man Legends at the game store that I went to like last week, 2 weeks ago now.
Mega Man Legends isn't bad. It's just that it's not a Mega Man game. It's an RPG with Mega Man in it.
Okay, let's play The Price is Right though. Guess how much?
Ooh, I'm going to say 25.
$45.
I think it was 30.
It's a hard game to find, but the one thing I want to stress to people that are new to collecting or unfamiliar with collecting, if that's what you want to call it, the more expensive the game, the more expensive a game is, doesn't make it better.
Right.
And a lot of people fall
That's
victim
true.
to that. They're like, "Oh my god, this PS1 game is $90. It should be fantastic," when it's not. It's a hunk of shit that just happens to not have had many copies made.
Or it's just sitting in a shop up in Canada, in Edmonton.
Yeah, screw that guy. I hope he's listening. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you to not play any of the Game Boy Advance SP versions of Mega Man. If you want to really do yourself a favor, go out, get yourself either the GameCube or PS2 version of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection and the Mega Man X Collection, because you can pick those up for pretty cheap now, and you have every true Mega Man game ever made right there.
All right.
Concur.
Yeah. Don't get me talking on Mega Man. I could do an entire podcast on Mega Man.
I feel like we should just let you talk one time. Well, I won't be listening. I'll be watching TV or playing Harry Potter or something. But
I think
we should film that one, by the way, Jess. We should get cameras in our homes for that one so we can just watch, like, you're just watching TV and I'm, like, leaning on my fist, like, staring intently and listening to him about
just
it.
go on and on.
no, I feel
Oh,
like it would be
really? What
interesting for like the first 5 minutes, and then Eric would just go on and on and on.
You should ask Kev what it was like to have me up there, because he actually had NES cartridges of Mega Man 2 and 3, and it was like
Must have been in heaven.
it was instantly like I was 8 years old again. We hooked up the NES, and I'm sitting on the floor on my knees with my feet crossed, and just it's like 8 years old all over again. I was just totally loving it.
Did you have fruit snacks and juice boxes?
No, I had beer and rum
Yeah, that's better.
and burnt popcorn. So it was,
Popcorn.
yeah,
Did you use the popcorn button?
I did, and that was my mistake.
First mistake, yeah.
Yeah, first mistake. Because Kev told me, he said, "Don't use the popcorn button." I'm like, okay. I hit the popcorn button and went and took a piss and came back, and it was just burnt to shit. He's like, "I told you not to use the popcorn button." Like, well,
Never use the popcorn button.
I had to pee. So, yeah, get the original Mega Mans. All right, we have another one from Jim Mecavini.
All right.
He sent me a tweet with this saying that it's probably long and pretty poorly worded because he wrote it between vomiting. I'm pretty sure this is him. He says, Het Factory Sealed Crew, I have a pretty long email on a topic I've been wondering about for quite a while. I grew up playing games with my brothers, and we usually played things like Super Mario Bros., Kirby Air Ride, and Ratchet and Clank. Many of my friends didn't play games until more recently, and I believe this affects the type of games we play. I can easily go back and play something from the 2000s, while my friends can barely stand playing something like that, though oddly they do play Minecraft without it bothering them much. Also, I love something like a game's soundtrack and story, while again, my friends have very different views. They tend to talk to each other or maybe even watch Netflix while they play. My other friends, who played games before the Xbox 360 and things like Netflix, mainly have views much like mine. I'm not sure if this is just coincidental, but I was interested in hearing all of your opinions on this topic. Thank you for your time. Brainstis. Okay, that's his Twitter name. That's a good question. So
pretty good for puking, too.
Basically, in a nutshell, he is asking if he wants to know what our thoughts are about people who play and do other things while playing a game, as opposed to engaging themselves in the storyline and the soundtrack and the actual enjoyment of the game.
Well, it sounds like that if you are trying to get through Chamber of Secrets in the Game Boy Advance, it is okay to be doing other things.
Like eating breakfast.
Like eating breakfast.
Like
that's a good
True.
thing.
Bagels
Now,
and lox.
This is kind of an interesting question because this is how my wife is when she plays games. She's got she doesn't really play like handheld games, so she'll play all those like download games on the Android devices and things in the Kindle.
Mobile games?
The mobile games, yeah. And she'll be doing that, but she'll have like something on in the background or reading a book at the same time as she's playing these games. And that's the only way she can operate while she plays. She can't, unless she's doing something that takes up all of her concentration on the game.
Mm-hmm.
She can do that. And I'm the way where I can't have two things on at once. Like I'm immersed in the game, and sometimes I'll be on one screen in the house while she's watching the TV, because I'll just move to my computer monitor then, and I'll play, and I can kind of pay attention, but I'm not really paying attention to anything outside of what my video game is doing. I just I can't understand how people can do that. So to me, that is foreign.
Well, and I think we can group gamers into two different categories. I think we can group them into, like he said, people who grew up playing games and play them for what they are, and people who are late adopters. So I would group them into these people. Gaming is a way of life. They do it. They understand the concepts of it. They enjoy it for what it really is. Whereas other people view gaming as just something to do in your downtime, and you don't really truly enjoy it.
And that's the casual gamer, right?
Very
fair definition of a casual gamer.
Yeah, but they, like he's saying though, they could still play more modern games like Call of Duty or maybe even like a new Final Fantasy or something. But what he's saying is that they will be watching Netflix or talking to each other while they're playing it and entirely miss the game's soundtrack and story. I
think it comes...
Go ahead.
Sorry. What are those things called? The jolts? Is it jolts that they measure for how much kind of activity is hitting you at once?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll
pretend it's that.
I think it's jolts.
But I think if you're used to or you started gaming when there wasn't as many jolts coming at you, you're able to kind of appreciate things in more of a patient type of perspective, where you don't need to have a million things to stimulate you for you to enjoy it. So if someone's playing a video game and watching Netflix and listening to music, maybe it's because they need more stimulation to get them to that higher excitement level.
Well, and I think that's really apparent in this current generation of kids. Being a teacher, I see that firsthand, is that kids these days cannot unplug. They physically cannot unplug. You take a teenage girl's phone away and the world is over. And
you take my phone away and the world is over.
Well, but if you had to be without your phone, you could function. And these kids, they have to have music on when they're doing homework. They have to have TV on. They have to be texting. So there's so many different things that they have to be engaged in because of this new diagnosis called FOMO, or fear of missing out. And I feel like that is what contributes a little bit to this too, is that we grew up playing games as kind of an escape from the real world, where we would lose ourselves in it and just kind of forget about all of our troubles and everything from the real life. But now with this fear of missing out, kids are afraid to completely disengage because of they're afraid what they might miss. And there's so much out there for them to take in that if they feel like if they don't take it all in right away, then they're going to miss it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more stimulation. Like, I remember you would enjoy the soundtrack when you were playing the video game. Like, the only time I ever had it muted was when I was pretending not to be playing games and I didn't want anyone to hear it.
Yeah.
But I think it was more of that was your focus.
Well, even
you
just
didn't need
like yesterday or last night, nobody was home. I could have had my surround sound blaring as loud as I wanted to, but I laid down on the floor and put on a really nice pair of headphones when I was playing Ni no Kuni because like I wanted to immerse myself in this game's soundtrack, and I could not, especially playing an RPG, I could not fathom having anything else on. Even when people come into the room and start talking over a cutscene, I get super angry about that because I want to experience this game. And it's to the point where Christy knows, like, she'll come in and we'll be chit-chatting if it's just like an action scene, and then as soon as a cutscene comes on, we both just are quiet until it's over. So and I think I'm rereading his email too, and he's saying that this affects the types of games that he can play with them, because he enjoys these older games and the games that you have to immerse yourself in, whereas his friends can't really stand that. So I think the second part of this question is, do you think more recent adopters have an issue playing retro games?
I think it's the type of gamer that they are too. Like, if you're looking at like strictly action games or like first person shooter games because you want that constant level of excitement, or you only want to play online and it's more of a social thing, I don't think you're ever going to really get that out of a retro game, just because it's a completely different perspective that you're taking on gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think replay, like certain people when they play the game for the first time, and some games like Call of Duty and things like that, there's not really a story or music that's gonna, like, oh my god, it's gonna make me emotional about the game. So it's gonna do that. But some of the older games, since we anyone who's played the game first knows what's coming. You know, so that they've already felt that emotion. But then sometimes, like Final Fantasy VII would be a good example. If I had to play that again, I would want something in the background to keep me occupied, because I'm tired of just running around waiting for random encounters and then just hitting my buttons, you know, using memory reflex on my fingers because I know I'm going to win all these battles.
I guess with
pass the time,
those JRPGs like that, if you know that for the next X amount of time you're just going to be level grinding, then yeah, throw on Netflix or something. But I couldn't imagine watching Netflix and trying to comprehend a story.
Yeah, I can't either. But, you know, that's a whole new generation of people out there that can do those things. They got, like I said, like you were saying, they got to have it, you know.
Well, and I don't think it's a matter of them being able to do it, because the brain can only process one thing at a time. You physically cannot do what you call multitasking. Yes, you can do multiple tasks at one time, but your attention can at one point only ever be focused on one thing. So the more stuff you have,
it's not going to be,
the more stuff you have coming at you, the less attention even the thing you're focused on is going to get. So
I wonder if some of these people have, like, what is it? What's the? Because I know what photo recall memory, you know, the photogenic memory. That's just the picture that you can picture everything you see. But then there's the ones that get both the audio too, so you can always play back those things. So if they see it at the same time, that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're only concentrating on one, but then when they play it back in their head, they have that whole separate thing that their mind picked up on.
Well, and it's
stuck in their head.
That's something interesting too that I did with my students, is that just one day, informally and casually, I took a poll of which of my students would make a habit out of listening to music when they wrote their paper. Music with words, not just like orchestral music and stuff, but made a habit of listening to their favorite types of music while they wrote their papers. And I would say a majority of the time, the people that wrote their papers with music on did worse because their attention was split. Even though music is just on in the background, you're still focused on it, and when somebody is talking, you're still listening to it. Whereas if, I would do all my homework listening to video game soundtracks, so naturally there weren't any lyrics to it, but
yeah, I don't know. That's interesting because when I was in high school, me and my buddy used to read a lot, and in our senior year, every class that I read in, I got an A in. Like if I just didn't pay attention to the teacher and I just read my book while they talked or whatever, and I would get an A in that class. And my buddy would do the same thing in other classes that I was trying to concentrate on because those are the ones that I needed to get good grades in, and I was not doing well, so I wouldn't read. I was paying attention. And in those classes, he would get the good grade, and I would get the bad grade. And in the ones grades that we were in that he didn't read, because we were reading the same set of books at the time, we were just trying to catch up with each other, because I already read them, and then he rereading them, and I was just kind of catching up with him. And he would do poorly on the ones that he would study and like pay attention to the teacher. So it's not video games, but it's something that has to be in common with that. And then when I do stuff, I like to have music on, whether it's music or not, because it's almost like a soundtrack in my head, what's happening at the time. And so if I have upbeat music, then I'm upbeat to whatever thing that I'm doing.
True. But I think
you can look at it in two different ways, because you have like your phonological processing, which is like your P store. And once you have your phonological processing takes over, so you're going to put more effort into processing audio. So they've done studies where they've made you do memory tests and try to look up vocabulary words. And if you have a song playing in your mind or playing in headphones or someone's talking to you, you're going to do poorly remembering it because your phonological processing takes over and tries to hold that in your mind over the vocabulary or the words or what you're reading.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're listening to music, there's like state dependent memory. So if you're doing a test, and let's say that you study for the test in room A, you're going to have a better opportunity of remembering that information if you write the test in room A versus writing the test in room B. It's like if you study when you're drunk, you're going to be able to remember the information better when you're drunk.
Really?
But you're probably going to remember it best when you're sober, both cases. But if you're drunk when you study, you're not going to remember as much when you're sober than if you were to get drunk again and then remember that.
Because that's how you remembered it.
Yeah, that's how it's all state dependent memory. They've done different in listening to music. If you're listening to music, you'll want to listen to that music again when you're recalling the information.
That's interesting.
Psychology.
Nice. Well, I feel like we've deviated pretty far from games, but
yes,
it's a great question, and I think it's a very valid point that you see a lot of it on, especially on the Xbox, where they have cross-party chat or cross-game party chat, where, and this kind of blew me away for the little bit of time that I got hooked on Halo 4 last fall. I would get pulled into parties with people who were playing, it had 5-6 people in there, and every person was playing a different game. Like, I don't understand how you can be doing this. Even if it is just something simple. I don't know. I like to, maybe I'm just more of a private gamer.
But at the same
my
time,
friends are that way too.
You've played games when we've chatted, and like when Dan and I used to chat on Skype, you would be playing games that we wouldn't be playing.
Yeah, but I think more or less that was something like we were just playing Call of Duty or something that no offense, but it honestly doesn't take much brain power to play.
Yeah, that's true.
I think more or less this argument is pretty valid for stuff that, like games with deep engrossing storylines. If you're playing Mario Kart, big deal. Yeah, that's a good question. I like that. We have another really long email, and I've been trying to skim it, and I don't see a question in it at all.
Okay.
It's from a guy named A. That's just his... Oh, Aaron Roshong.
I thought I said my name for a second there.
He put the extra A in there, though. He went the extra mile. Your parents got lazy on the birth certificate. In a nutshell, he says, I just found your show and listened to my first episode, number 7. Nice show. It's easily accessible for a newbie. I'm subscribed and will listening to all the old and upcoming show. Now that all the mandatory butt kissing's out of the way, I just want to commend you for the great advice and commentary regarding the email on when to get my children into gaming. You did a great job countering all the criticism leveled at having kids game at an early age, so on and so forth. He goes on to share his experiences of gaming with his kids, and he says what is retro to us, the modern gamer, is brand new to them, which is fantastic for him because he gets to go back and relive it. So he also shared a little bit of advice on how to go about getting some of these games, and since that falls into the moral gray zone of emulation, I'm not going to share some of what he described.
Suggested.
Yeah. If you want to sully up your moral compass, be my guest, but, we're not going to say that we're above that. It's just we're not going to go out and say how to do it. So if you have...
We don't want to be arrested.
If you have Google, you can figure it out. So... All right, that's it for questions. Yeah. Oh, as always, fantastic questions. If you have one you want to send in, factorysealed@manatank.com. We take game suggestions. We didn't get a single game suggestion this week, so that means it's on us. Now, I know I suggested
Little Mermaid.
I know I suggested Little Mermaid for next week. I'm pumped about that, but Jess also had a really good suggestion too, that we can start some of these games that are longer, we can spread them out over a couple shows and talk about where we're at, what we're liking about it. And then, because before, it's like when we did Parasite Eve, I feel like we tried to pack all that into one show. And we could have very easily spread that into a couple shows. But evolution is the way to go. We need to evolve our methods and our processes. And Jess, I know you and I talked about this before. I think... since we're on this mobile game kick, I would like to see us play perhaps my favorite Legend of Zelda game, the Link's Awakening.
Yes.
For Game Boy. Now, there's 2 versions. There's regular Link's Awakening and there's Link's Awakening DX. DX, I believe, just has 1 extra dungeon in it. So, since I've never played DX... That's the
route you're going.
I think we should go with DX.
That's on what system again?
Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Yes. We can help you.
All right.
But that'll be one of those where we can talk about it next week. Like, those games are pretty easy to judge how far you get, so we should probably say, like, let's shoot for halfway next week. So was there 8 dungeons in a Zelda game? Anyone?
I think so.
Jess?
No idea.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure there's 8 dungeons, so...
Sounds good.
Is there anything else anyone wants to suggest? Because I'm pretty sure Little Mermaid's going to take a whole whopping hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to beat. I might even play it tonight.
I've been trying to play it all night, and I can't get my stupid joystick to work, so I think my USB is not working.
You've been trying to play...
I might even watch the movie to immerse myself into the environment.
Oh. How?
Oh, I should totally get my Little Mermaid doll.
Aaron, give us another suggestion. Did you want to start playing part of the Fire Emblem series?
I would like to. Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something that... Because I wanted to play Parasite Eve 2, but apparently I do not own it, which is the only reason why I did not play that, because that's what I wanted to play 2 weeks ago that I suggested.
Have either of you played any more of that? Jess, have you finished it?
No, didn't have time.
Do you have any desire to finish it?
Harry Potter. I think I will eventually.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not as... that's one of those games where going back and replaying it kind of killed the nostalgic factor for me. Which sucks.
I'm trying to think of because I enjoyed playing that one again through. Like I said, I wanted to get further into it. I did come across a game though that that I wouldn't mind playing again. It's an NES game
Which one?
that we talked about before, but we haven't played it, and it's the Master Blaster.
The Master Blaster. Okay.
The Blaster Master? Blaster Master.
Okay. What is it? What kind of game is this?
That's the over-the-top view. And in some of the cases, I think it had some side-scrolling, and you had this like tank vehicle that you had to go through these little levels in, and you got to shoot like the beam to open your way through, and the bad guys.
Is that like your typical Jackal 1943 type game, top down?
No, not that type. It's actually like you're in. I want to say you're underground in some points,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going through and fighting, making your way through. Hold on a second. Let me. I'm doing a really terrible job describing it, so I'll give you 1 second. Let me pull up the description for you.
That thing with that other thing?
You guys remember Blaster Master, right? Or you never played it?
Never played it.
Oh my god!
Ew.
All right then.
I don't think I even heard of it until that guy wrote in with the email saying that he found a sealed copy of it.
Man, that would be sweet. Let's see, where is...
This looks like Rygar from the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That one picture, that if you just type in Blaster Master and go to images, the second picture looks like it's pulled straight out of Rygar.
That's exactly what I have. And that's exactly what I just did.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure it's because it's back on the old NES, so it's got to be
Even
probably similar.
if you go into images, Jess, and go to the fifth one, that looks like the sunset scene directly out of Rygar.
Yeah.
Even the trees look the same.
That's funny. I guess there was only like one way that you could do that.
Blaster Master. I remember playing this game a lot.
We'll put an asterisk next to Blaster Master. That'll
Yeah,
be the if you want to play it.
The
it
bonus
takes place
round.
on the planet Sophia the Third.
Oh. Is it a
Yeah.
royal planet?
Yeah, it's let's see, original of this. Yeah, basically it's a large underground cavern. Yeah, Jason, I remember, was like the first guy's name, I believe.
Okay, so
So
we're shooting for next week. We're gonna try to turn this weekly. I like that.
Yeah, we will.
I like it. I like it a lot.
we can do it. Are we gonna do the same time, 8:30 on Wednesdays?
That works for me.
If we can set it to be every time at a certain time, then I can definitely try to work it into the schedule.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. And if you guys have any more nuggets of wisdom you would like to bestow upon our listeners, otherwise...
Well, really, I feel like that could take all night for me to spew the wisdom that I have in my brain.
I feel like
So-
we eventually got the rescue crew out, we cleaned up the wreckage, and we got this thing back on track.
I think we did.
I didn't
and
fail after all.
if it
Eventually.
wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't be here. So thank you very much.
Yes. They're the ones that came out and
You
lifted
sounded
us.
like Elvis there. Do it again.
Thank you very much.
I'm kind of disappointed that the Hulk voice didn't come out. You've been talking that up.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hulk voice. Yeah. Well, now that I have the headphones on, I can't. I feel very nasally. I sound nasally on this thing, but let's see. Let me try to get it here.
He's going for it.
Hulk want to talk about games. Hulk want smash. Hulk want to play
What
Little
version?
Mermaid.
Your Hulk sounds autistic.
What Hulk are you being?
I was doing all day at work. I had it down, and then I put these headphones on, and it's throwing off my
Were you...
Are you like
Internal
Lou
voice.
Ferrigno or?
Yeah, he sounds like the Lou Ferrigno one. Can't quite hear. Can't quite
Ferrigno
hear
was the
himself.
best.
Were
Can't quite
you
understand what you're saying.
were you working by yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so you're just in the store talking like the Hulk to yourself.
Yeah, I was trying to get it down because I was talking about the games that we were playing. And
Was anybody else in the store?
No, there was nobody else.
So had somebody walked in with your back turned to them, they probably would have turned and walked out.
And maybe, or they would have said, "Hey."
I would have killed myself laughing.
I've been watching a lot. I was introduced to the Marvel Avengers show, a cartoon that came out a couple years ago, I guess 2010. They had like 52 episodes, and I totally missed it. So I'm watching that on Netflix right now, and So yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and I get the Hulk, and had the Hulk voice. But now that I have to do it on command, it's hard, especially with these headphones on. It's throwing my internal voice off.
Okay, well, your one shot at the spotlight has failed.
No, man, I got my one spot. Video game violence did not start with Pong. You can't blame violence on video games on Pong.
I forgot to tweet that link out.
Oh no!
Oh.
What was the name of the website again?
I think it was KAL
KALTV.
TV, yeah.
And then you have to type in.
It was like Obama and guns or something.
Yeah, you type in Obama guns, and the
Tickets
FBI
to the gun show.
FBI comes knocking on your door, and they take you to the secret room where they show you a picture of Aaron talking about Pong.
Pong.
I will find that link, and I'm going to tweet it out. If it's still up, they may have taken.
I should contact them and see if they can give me the whole interview on film.
Of course, they're not going to do that.
They should. That would be the best, because then I could get an explanation as to why I said that.
You're pretty much famous, so I feel like they should.
Internet famous. When was our last show?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, and your little stardom was a couple days before that, wasn't it?
It was like the day before.
Okay. I'll find it. I'll send it out.
All
and right. Aaron will be super famous.
Superstar.
Okay. Anything else? So next week, literally, I know I say that every show, but this time, next week, literally, Little Mermaid NES, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. The DX is important. And Asterisk Blaster Master.
Blaster Master.
Did we write these down? Because there's a few times we've said this and then forgotten.
I have them on a notepad that has a bunch of other crap that I'm probably going to throw away.
You should tweet it.
No.
Beauty.
No. How about you just use that brain?
My brain is too full of awesome information.
Like P stores and...
Is that where you go to buy pee?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
It's weird.
There is.
All right, I'm going to put an end to this before we derail again. So,
thanks everybody. Hope you had a great day.
If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, suggestions, send it to us in an email. We'll read it. Probably won't make fun of it. Aaron, where can we find you on the Twitter?
At Quilted Tunic.
Jess.
At Jess M. Clarkson.
We're still working on that. If you have any suggestions for Jess and a new name, send them to her. You can follow me at Honest Pizza. That is going to do it for the show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Literally.